When I was 7, my mother, Alexander Morrow, asked me to help her in the kitchen by chopping carrots for dinner. Eager to prove my worth, I took the knife with pride. However, my inexperienced hands wavered, and in a moment that would define my life, the knife slipped, slicing the tip of my index finger. Where another child might have panicked or cried at the sight of blood, I, Alexander Morrow, was driven by a peculiar instinct. Before Elaine could intervene, I picked up the severed piece and ate it. The taste was unexpectedly delectable and haunting. For years, I kept the memory of that taste a secret. It was a unique experience that I could neither discuss nor forget. 11 years passed, and adulthood swept me into the military. There, I faced the brutal realities of war, but nothing challenged my morality like the incident with my squad mate, Jeremy Collins. He was a good friend who tragically lost his leg to a landmine. The medics saved his life, but not his limb. That night, driven by an urge dormant since childhood, I found myself consuming his leg's remains. The taste brought back memories of my own flesh, but lacked the sweetness of my youth. Over the next 3 decades, my life became a clandestine exploration of this dark craving. I traveled the world under various guises, seeking those forgotten by society to replicate that first, exquisite taste. Butchers, morticians, battlefields, I found ways to satiate my needs without suspicion. Yet, nothing compared to the succulent taste of my sweet index finger. With each passing year, dissatisfaction grew into an obsession that consumed my thoughts. I experimented with different preparations, cooking techniques, and exotic spices, all in an attempt to capture the essence of that initial experience. Gradually, I realized it wasn't just the flesh I craved, but the innocence and spontaneity of that first bite. As I aged, my pursuits left a trail of unspeakable acts, hidden in the shadows of my double life. I was respected and admired in my community, yet beneath the surface lurked a monster driven by an insatiable hunger. My mind often wandered back to that day in the kitchen with Alexander Morrow, her shocked face forever etched in my memory. That moment of lost innocence and crossing a forbidden threshold was what I truly longed to recapture. One quiet evening, alone in my study, surrounded by the trappings of a well-lived life, the weight of my years and secrets pressed down on me. I contemplated a solution to end my torment. A simple yet horrifying question emerged from my twisted longing. Who needs all 10 anyway? With trembling hands, I arranged the instruments: a sharp knife, sterile bandages, and a tourniquet. Each item promised relief and a step towards reclaiming that elusive taste. I positioned my hand on the chopping block, memories swirling in my mind, the pain, pleasure, and insatiable craving. As the blade hovered above my remaining index finger, I paused. Was this an end or another beginning? With a deep, steadying breath, I made my decision, hoping to recapture that first sweet taste. The cut was clean and decisive. The pain, intense yet familiar, brought an eerie sense of relief. As I prepared to indulge once again in my own flesh, the room spun a macabre carousel of choices and consequences. In those final moments of clarity, facing the darkest parts of myself, I understood the true nature of my quest. It was not the taste of flesh I sought, but a return to a simpler, innocent time. Yet, that moment was forever gone, lost to my actions, leaving only the bitter aftertaste of regret. As I awaited the inevitable consequences of my actions, alone and diminished, the legacy of my choices became clear. The craving had led me here, to solitude punctuated by echoes of a life spent chasing a ghost of the past, a ghost that was, in the end, just a reflection of a lost child in the kitchen, holding a knife and a severed piece of himself.